The Philippines is one of the top labor migrant sources for many countries in the world. Labor export has been an acceptable fact of life in the country. Early traces of labor migration have existed since the galleon trade during the Spanish regime, where Filipino seafarers work abroad. This has contributed to the early migration system in the Philippines and establishing Filipino labor in the world economy. As globalization increases, the demand for migrant workers also increased. In the 1970s, the unemployment rate in the Philippines increased. As a response, the Philippine government established and launched policies and programs that promoted labor export in the country to ease unemployment problems. Currently, these programs are still in place and labor migration is still highly prevalent. Filipinos migrate for work abroad in the hopes of providing well for their families while substantially contributing to the Philippine economy by bringing in remittances and providing a means of income driving economic growth. It was not long after these exports significantly aided the country's sinking economy that Filipino migrants are then labeled as Bagong Bayani. The coining of the term Bagong Bayani was caused by cultural, historical, and religious factors. It is said that Filipinos view the concept of heroism as a form of sacrifice or suffering, and employment abroad is perceived as a sacrifice for the sake of the nation's good, hence the term Bagong Bayani. This was then further amplified by former President Corazon Aquino's Bagong Bayani speech and her affinity for overseas Filipino workers.
Temporary contract employees were a different breed because they lacked citizenship, rights, and permanent residency status, making it possible for them to bring their families with them. They were also vulnerable to abuse and abuses of their rights, particularly because many of them work in low-wage employment. The speeches also implicitly paralleled Aquino's overthrow of Marcos, which was largely fueled by middle-class support, or what Robin Rodriguez refers to as middle-class worries, about Filipino women performing domestic duties in foreign nations, putting the country's image to shame. Aquino, on the other hand, had a different motivation for counting their votes. Aquino may have appeared to extolling migrant workers in Hong Kong, but she was actually asking them to accept and naturalize their plight, while reminding them that their grateful families and nation await them and they will not lose their jobs and maintain the image of Filipino workers as a cooperative.
First and foremost, think of an answer concerning these questions. What is your stand about modern-day heroes? Are you knowledgeable about why the overseas Filipino workers call a Bagong Bayani? Are these people are in the standard of heroes? Or it only happens for us not to focus on the other significant side of Philippine life? In connection, as a student, those modern-day heroes are the people who are making a difference. A difference that will last a lifetime for every side of their life. However, though OFW is really a hero, imagine the word hero as 4 letters. It is simply one word. But this one word concerning numerous aspects of every person's life. I agree that the OFWs are heroes because each of us is aware that being a hero is not always come along with the sword and blood. It also comes with our mind and heart. Honestly speaking, there are huge numbers of our citizens that are leaving the country for better opportunities and greener pastures. Nevertheless, it does not mean that the award is created to withdraw our attention from the, thing, the things that matter. Additionally, people may utter that these workers are leaving the country for better opportunities and greener pastures. However, do they think that those sets of circumstances are for their loved ones and not for themselves? True that, OFWs are not just simply called modern-day heroes, for the reason that these human beings put a lot of efforts into working abroad. For me, we do not look for them. OFWs reveal themselves as a heroes because of their hard work, caring characteristics, and putting a lot of sacrifices. As I said earlier, citizens are leaving the country for a better future. However, this better future is not just circling around them, but also helps and contributes to the economy of the Philippines through the monthly remittances that they send to their loved ones. In conclusion, through criticizing the Bagong Bayani, OFWs proved that they are more than just a hero. For the thought that they are strongest soldier that do not give up on even they are away from their families and friends, even if they are uncomfortable with the environment, even they feel alone, and even if they suffer physical and emotional abuse from their employers. OFWs are traumatized with lots of scars and injuries, and they have been taught and they have been through a lot. But look, they keep fighting and standing for a better life, and that OFW are our bagong bayani.